Hey guys, I just got this book in the mail today from Tuttle Publishing. It was sent out to me as a review copy. It's called Korean Stories for Language Learners, and you might remember I did another video not too long ago. I've done two recently actually, one on Russian short stories and another book that was done on Arabic traditional songs, very similar style. What it basically does is, what this one does is it goes through 42 stories, progressively getting longer and more challenging, and it focuses on traditional folklore, so folk tales. So I don't know the origin of the stories that are in here because it doesn't really give background of the stories, but you get ones like, I don't know, The Mouse in the Shape of a Man, you know, and it's just, these are all kind of, I don't even know how you describe it, but they're just, let me get another one, The Golden Axe and the Silver Axe. And yeah, so they go through there, obviously because they're traditional folklore, they're, the language is quite formal. You're certainly not going to get casual dialogues out of this. I'm not learning Korean anymore, but I was listening to this and I was getting seriously nostalgic listening to this stuff, because it, I don't know, it's really cool that they've chosen to focus on something that's kind of cultural historical rather than just sort of modern boring dialogues. Obviously if you're learning to speak Korean, you're going to want to listen to dialogues, but in terms of a vocabulary builder and a listening comprehension tool, I'll just show you the kind of, I'll play one of the later stories. Should be able to hear.
The Taming of the Mother-in-Law. 시어머니 길들이기. 옛날에 아주 성격이 나쁜 시어머니가 있었습니다. 얼마나 성격이 나쁘냐면 그 시어머니가 며느리를 괴롭히지 않으면 남들이 이상하게 생각할 만큼 성격이.
So that was one of the later stories called The Taming of the Mother-in-Law. And so what the stories do, they, like most of the stories in this particular genre of, they obviously give the story in the original language, a translation, and then vocabulary list and comprehension questions, yeah, and then what I found really interesting, there are a couple of things I found really strange about this book. One is that, first of all, the very first two lessons they don't really fit the style of what the book is all about, which is folk tales. You have these two, I'll show you. This is
Meeting new friends.
Meeting new friends.
새로운 친구들 만나기. 안녕하세요. 제 이름은 소피아입니다. 저는 미국 사람입니다.
So you have this, like, in the first two lessons, the first two stories rather, are just like that. They're like absolute beginner dialogues, the sort of thing you would learn in day one, first lesson, right? And then from story 3 onwards, it transitions into traditional folk tales. So it goes from this absolute beginner content to like high beginner, low intermediate, and then it just, from there it's just all folk tales. So it's like these first two stories that they're not even stories, they're like four sentences long, just don't belong in the book. And then and then right in the very back you've got a glossary. Let me show you. So so you've got the glossary there, and then before that you have this you have these writing exercises where they're kind of teach the reading and writing Korean vowels and consonants. Like, I mean, this is like extreme beginner stuff. So the reason why I say that's strange is that this book obviously would not be suitable for anyone at that level. I mean, it's definitely aimed at a high beginner, at least high beginner to low intermediate learner. So that sort of stuff you could leave out. And then you had these kind of strange, let me see. Sorry, yes. like this is a writing activity. After one of the stories, write a letter to the tiger from the mother, the baby, or the persimmon. What advice do you want to give the tiger, or what would you say? What would you like to say to the tiger? The writing exercises are kind of bizarre. Rewrite the story from the tiger's point of view. Actually, that's not a bad activity. Oh, look at this! Like, write a few sentences about your experiences related to farts. That's actually written, which I thought was pretty funny. So yeah, kind of strange activity, strange inclusion of extreme beginner material. But other than that, this is really cool. It's made me nostalgic for Korea. It's definitely filled a market gap, because there's hardly anything that I've seen around for this sort of short stories for Korean. And the audio is really, really well done. Like, her reading is super clear, she's kind of slowed it down a little bit to the point where you can really make out the articulation in all the different words. So I was listening to some of the higher stuff, and like, I haven't done Korean for a couple of years, but I was able to really follow along well with it. So yeah, it's a good little series. I'm not big into the whole short story thing for learning, but if I was doing Korean again, I would get a lot of value out of this. So have a look. Thanks, guys.